How many gallons a minute? Massport Fire. How many gallons a minute? You probably can't hear me because it's pumping thousands of gallons a minute. Thank you, Massport Fire. People on the starboard side are going to get the first view of the Greyhound of schooners. The Greyhound of schooners is the Bluenose. The Bluenose 1 was launched in Canada in 1921. She unfortunately sank after hitting a reef down in Haiti in 1946. The Bluenose 2 was built to replace her. It was built by the original designers and by the grandchildren of Bluenose 1. She's exactly an exact duplicate right down to the last nail. When you look at her as a schooner versus the Belle Espoir back there that looks like a working vessel, she'll look like a Maserati. She's got very sleek and elegant lines. She just looks fast even just sitting still. She has a jet black hull with a gold stripe down along her side. The Nazis at the Battle of Iwo Jima. She was refloated and refitted at Pearl Harbor and saw action in the Korean conflict, including the most daring and famous amphibious assault, the Battle of Incheon. Just beyond, now right off our starboard right, directly in front of us, the Spirit of Bermuda. She is a schooner that promotes tourism to Bermuda as an ambassador to the Port of Hamilton in Bermuda. Just inside of that is the Amistad. The Amistad has had a line since she arrived. She's home ported down in New Haven, Connecticut, originally built in Mystic, Connecticut, as a replica of the Amistad 1, the original slaver. If you get a chance, she's well worth the visit. It will disturb you. But I think the historic significance, it's well worth going on board. Now, the way we can tell that the Bluenose, which is on our right-hand side is a schooner, the rear mast is taller than the foremost mast. We can also tell she's gaff rigged because it looks like she has a white sandwich on board. That means she has a boom below the sail and a boom above. That's called gaff rigging. The U.S. Coast Guard's Eagle, again, looking similar to the Gross Block fleet, is the vessel that we can see through the spars and masts of the Bermuda and the Amistad. She has the distinctive orange stripe that is characteristic of all Coast Guard vessels, with the exception of the very small Avons or inflatable types that have a totally orange hull, but that is a distinctive mark of the Coast Guard vessels. She is a 295-foot mark. She was originally taken from Germany as a prize of war in 1936. She was originally launched out of Bremerhaven at the Vaughan and Bloss shipyard. As I said, she's 295 feet long. She has an albatross under her bowsprit. That's a sign of good luck. It's painted gold, and you get a good look at it at different angles. For those of you on the right, the Bluenose on our left-hand side, those on our left-hand side, rather, the Bluenose and the Picton Castle. On board the U.S. Coast Guard's Eagle, they train U.S. Coast Guard Academy cadets. They have 170 cadets, 19 officers, and 56 seamen. Ladies and gentlemen, on our left, the Picton Castle and the Bluenose. You can't really see her that well, and we are in Constitution Wharf Marine. We don't see the Constitution that well right now because they took down her masts. They are redoing her decking. She's kind of covered with tarpaulins. She's being refitted. That happens every few years because of the weathering that she takes and her age. She was launched out of Boston in 1797. She's 44 guns, 2,200 tons. She's a full-rig ship of the line, undefeated in 50 naval engagement. Her most famous naval engagement, July 12, 1812, against the HMS Guerriere. She took the Guerriere as a prize of war in under 45 minutes. The British cannonballs bounced off her side, leading to her nickname, Old Ironsides. The British thought she was made of iron. Now coming up on our right-hand side, the U.S. Coast Guard Station Group Boston. They enforce the 200-mile fishing limit. They maintain aids to navigation. They enforce smuggling and catch smugglers. They protect the harbor and the coast of Massachusetts and all of the world from terrorism. And they also aid stranded mariners. How many people saw the movie Perfect Storm or read the book? You now know how courageous these people are. Their unofficial motto is, you must go out, you may not return. Now on our starboard side, we have two vessels that are not classified tall ships. If you notice, the bow masts are taller than the rear mast. The rear mast is known as a mizzen mast. These could be either a ketch or a yawl. Okay? They are not one of the 6 classifications of tall ships. They may be over 100 feet, but unless they have one of those 6 classifications, they're not a tall ship by official designation by Sail Training International. The way you can tell the difference between a ketch and a yawl, they both have similar masts, taller front mast, shorter mizzen mast in the rear. A ketch means that you drive the boat from behind the mast. The rudder post where you steer the boat is behind the mast. That means your eye catches the mast. If you drive the boat from in front of that mast, it's a yawl, because it's all the way back. So as the boats get bigger, they tend to get pushed downward by the wind. To counteract that, you put a sail on the back, and that kind of balances the center of rotation of the boat. Now a couple of the wharfs on our right-hand side, that's Battery Wharf, home of the Boston Fish Fleet, Boston Fire Fleet. Boston Fire Fleet, if everybody looks at an old map of Boston at some point, Boston was almost entirely water back in the colonial